played the boxing game. And what this speaks to, and this is a boxing show, boxing is fundamentally exploitative. I get this as a fan. It's a guilty pleasure. I get it, right? And usually it's fans and networks exploiting fighters, right? We say, we want to see you in blood and guts fights, which risks their health for the rest of their life to entertain us. But here's what's crazy to me about a fight like that. And I remember, when I'm a little kid, Sugar Ray Leonard wins the gold medal. And then you blink, he's fighting Benitez for the title. Then he's fighting Durant twice. Then he's fighting Hearns. It didn't take 100 years to make the fight. But what's wild about something like this is a real super fight, and I said this on the broadcast for Crawford and Canelo, can't be promoted into existence. Right. What a real super fight is, the dust settles in an era, and there are two dudes left standing. There's Ali, there's Frazier, there's Leonard, there's Hagler, there's Mayweather, there's Pacquiao. That's a super fight, right? There's Crawford, there's Canelo. Those are two big fighters of the era. This type of fight, this could easily be at the end of an era, because Teo might be a dude left standing and Shakur could be the dude left standing, right?
I agree. Are you training to do something to not just beat Shakur, but to beat him in grand fashion? When I say grand fashion, I mean going for the knockout.
Well, I think that the whole thing is the Bible of boxing really is that if you look for the knockout, you won't get it. I think really it's just all about setting the good pace early in the beginning rounds and then going from there.
We have going for us, when a person underestimates you, that's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating.
All right, so Max Kellerman just broke this down, and he's not holding back. This fight is going to be absolutely brutal for Shakur and represents a legitimate examination of everything he's got.
I don't know if it's going to be the most aesthetically pleasing fight. We've seen the way Teo goes against some of these boxers. We've seen Shakur in some bad fights, obviously. Although Shakur looks pretty damn good against Williams Zepeda. Teo's not a pressure guy. Likes to counterpunch. Two counterpunchers, really.
Yes, it is not but there are some fights, guys. I think about Pernell Whitaker and Buddy McGirt, or Sugar Ray Leonard and Wilfred Benitez. I love the high-speed chess match. Not every fight has to be rock'em sock'em robots, right? That is, I agree with you. Aesthetically, there could be problems because someone has to take the lead, and they're both counterpunchers. But Chris, Teo has some angles with his feet that might bother a guy like Shakur.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He has great angles with the feet. He moves greater in the ring, and combination fighter, to me, combinations is the best. It's key to win a fight.
Theo isn't backing down from anyone, and he's making it crystal clear that Shakur Stevenson is in for a reality check when these two finally step into the ring together.
He was number one, my mandatory, and he didn't. He was too hesitant trying to commit to punches. So I think that it's just something that's going to be a rude awakening for Shakur.
Hey, Doug, you hear that? He said the Bible of boxing. What else is called the Bible of boxing? Ring Magazine. And he's a two-division, Ring Magazine champ.
Great ambassador for those championship belts as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm very big on those things. I claimed 2 weight divisions, 2 Ring Magazine belts just at 25.
Shakur's corner, with Jack at the helm, decided to stick with what's been working for them in camp, but they've tweaked the game plan this go-around to get him ready the right way. They've been working on some trying
a few new little things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's basically the same thing we've been doing. We changed the strategy, but no camp is never exactly the same. So yeah, it's just like always. We may try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but it's mainly the same things. One of the best things we have going for us, when a person underestimates you, that's lovely. And that ain't the only thing he's underestimating. So we're good.
Max Kellerman breaks it down like this. Yeah, Shakur hits hard, and that's undeniable. But Teo brings serious power and movement to the table that you can't ignore. And his heart and technical ability are on full display. What really stands out about Teo's
style, when you have a guy like Shakur whose defense is that good, and he's not just a guy who's going to hug you, he can box, the easiest thing in the world is just to pick him against everybody.
Right.
Yes. But Teo also has the kind of footwork, Malik, where he steps around guys. And I think about Buddy McGirt, Meldrick Taylor.
Yes.
Roy, where Meldrick had quick enough feet Where if you were going to come right at Buddy McGirt, he could box you. But Meldrick could give him angles that were more difficult. I think of Roy Jones, James Toney. If you were going to go at James Toney, forget it. His defense is too good. But Roy had the feet to move around James Toney, and maybe Teo has the feet to move around Shakur.
I seriously doubt it, man. Shakur is a whole different type of animal. His ring IQ is up there with the best. He's getting literally, I don't know how many times we've seen 2 pound-for-pound fighters.
Shakur is getting tired of the hate and feels like nobody wants to acknowledge what he's accomplished, constantly dismissing his wins and acting like he's been facing nobody.
After and just kept it moving. I do feel like I am in a situation that when I do make fighters look bad and beat them up, the first thing that they going to run to is, oh, this guy wasn't that good, or this guy is not nobody. They're going to take away from my resume, same way they did with Bud. Just like my last fight. My last fight, they turned the dude that I was fighting, and they say he's a cab driver. But I want to say his fight before he fought me, he fought Nakatani. And no disrespect to Teo. Teo had, a majority decision with Nakatani. Lomachenko, it took him 9 or 10 rounds to get him out of there. That dude got him out of there in 6. So he couldn't be as bad as how they made him seem. But I think I'm just in a lose situation when it comes down to it, because anybody that I fight, they're going to act like I didn't fight nobody in.
Now he's ready to shut everyone up and make believers out of all the critics.
Because anybody that I fight, they're going to act like I didn't fight nobody in. Even with Edwin. Edwin is a great fighter. But after I beat him, they're going to sit there and say that he wasn't as good as I'm saying he is.
Ryan Garcia dropped his analysis on this massive Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez showdown that everyone's talking about. He's leaning toward Shakur taking the win, but he's not sleeping on Teofimo's chances either. Garcia breaks down how Stevenson brings that next-level skill set, lightning speed, and defensive wizardry that gives him the upper hand, putting him in a league that's tough for anyone at lightweight to crack. But here's the thing. He's quick to point out that Lopez packs serious power, has that never-quit attitude, and knows how to make adjustments that keep this fight completely unpredictable. Garcia makes it clear that when you're dealing with elite-level boxing, everything comes down to razor-thin details, perfect timing, and those split-second chances that can flip everything. Any boxer sitting as the favorite better stay sharp, because one perfectly timed flurry or smart strategic switch can turn the whole fight upside down. Garcia sees this as an incredible style matchup, where you've got Stevenson's pure technical mastery going head-to-head with Lopez's dynamic offensive arsenal. Sure, he's picking Shakur, but he's emphasizing that Teofimo definitely has what it takes to shock everyone.
I would put my money on Shakur, but shit, I won't be surprised if Teofimo surprises us all, for sure. I think I'm underestimating Teofimo a little bit, but I don't think he can make the necessary adjustments to his own style to combat what Shakur does best, but he could definitely prove me wrong, for sure.
Oscar Valdez just gave his take on this Teofimo Lopez against Shakur Stevenson battle and broke down exactly why he thinks Teofimo can actually pull this off. Valdez is zeroing in on Lopez's positioning game, how he moves his feet, and that instinctive counterpunching style he's developed. He talks about how Teofimo plants himself on that back foot to stay balanced, creates space when he needs to, and uses that long reach to connect with surgical precision on his counters. This approach lets him get into exchanges while minimizing the damage coming back his way, something he's been perfecting since his amateur career and Olympic run. Valdez knows that casual boxing fans might not get excited about this style, but it's absolutely essential to what makes Teofimo dangerous. He emphasizes that taking down someone like Shakur Stevenson demands patience, perfect timing, and smart pressure application.
Power, but you got to hit him first. And Shakur Stevenson, the way he's positioned, the way his back foot's there, and then you see him comfortable, and he's all right, this is my shot. And you throw it, he just rocks back, or he has that back foot, just steps back, and he has a long reach, so he just counters punches you. And that's part of the game. You get hit and not get hit. And Shakur Stevenson does it to the T. He perfected that since he was an amateur and Olympian, silver medalist, and now he's done it as a professional. You know, maybe not the whole world enjoys it, but the pure boxing fan will maybe appreciate that.
I know you tried to do it, and Shakur's undefeated at this point, but like, how do you beat a Shakur Stevenson?
You know, I think how you beat a Shakur Stevenson, if I can go back, you do some, try. That's it.
Teofimo's gotta pick his spots and land the shots that count, forcing Stevenson into uncomfortable situations the same way other crafty fighters have done against technically gifted opponents throughout boxing's greatest moments. Valdez references classic fights where surgical precision and opportunistic timing let the underdog pull off stunning upsets. In Valdez's eyes, Lopez's composure under fire, distance control, and ability to fire back under intense pressure makes him genuinely dangerous. If he can apply intelligent pressure while keeping his defense tight, Teofimo has a real shot at ending Stevenson's perfect record. Valdez views this showdown as more than just skill versus skill, but as a chess match where Lopez's counterpunching ability and strategic patience could be the deciding factors.
And make that damage where he has no option. And we all got tremendous fighters who box very well. You got Sugar Ray Leonard till Roberto Duran came, and he ended up catching him. You got Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. He was an amazing defensive fighter till Zurdo Ramirez came in and beat him. Then and other fighters. So everyone I think time will tell what type of fighter, but I would say a pressured fighter. Maybe someone like Pitbull. We know Pitbull has had some losses with guys who are even less defensive fighters than Shakur Stevenson. So the Rayo Venezuela and then Gervonta Davis, and then his controversial fight with
Zach Moses didn't hold anything back when discussing this Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez fight, straight up saying that Stevenson is going to handle business in this one. He's highlighting how Shakur's technical excellence, blazing speed, and fight intelligence create a massive edge against Lopez. Moses breaks down Stevenson's mastery of range control, opponent analysis, and mistake punishment that makes him a nightmare matchup for anyone at lightweight. Even though he respects Teofimo's knockout power and relentless drive, Moses is convinced that Stevenson's experience level, ice-cold composure, and tactical brilliance will shut down whatever Lopez brings to the table. He even brings up previous battles against fighters like Vassell and Moten to show how Stevenson has consistently figured out aggressive challengers, proving his style creates problems that are nearly impossible to solve.
Shakur's in a massive fight against Teofimo, Madison Square Garden next week. How do you see that playing out?
I see him beating the shit out of Teofimo. I see Teo just, I don't want to really say too much, but I see Teo come to do what he do, and I see Shakur coming to do what he do, and I just see Shakur doing whatever he want, and any type of way he want it, that's how it's gonna be. And next week is a big week, and I can't wait for bro to show everybody, for real.
You said beat the shit out of him. Do you think he's gonna stop Teofimo Lopez? Do you think if he wants to, he can?
I mean, he act crazy. I think he can. That's all I'm gonna say. He act crazy. I think he can.
Last one. Obviously, with that fight in the horizon, you want to be involved in big fights like that going down, that New York, New Jersey rivalry. Is that something that inspires you when you see Shakur doing this at the highest level?
I mean, for sure.
Check this out. D'Antonio Tarver just dissected this Teofimo Lopez against Shakur Stevenson matchup and laid out the one legitimate way Lopez can get his hand raised. Tarver explains that Stevenson dominates when he controls the distance, works his angles, and keeps everything happening in the middle of the ring. When Shakur maintains that positioning, he naturally takes over the fight and makes it nearly impossible for Lopez to create opportunities. But here's where it gets interesting. If Stevenson gets forced backward or finds himself trapped on the ropes, Lopez suddenly has those critical moments to strike. His combination work and ability to fire with both hands in rapid succession makes him extremely dangerous up close, especially against someone who relies on slick defensive movement. Tarver stresses that physical conditioning and mental terrace are absolutely important.
Angles, keeping that fight sort of in the middle, you got to favor Shakur. But if he's on the back foot, if he's on the ropes, that's going to give Teofimo a lot of opportunities. And what makes Teofimo, I believe, dangerous in this fight, he throws both hands in succession. He's a combination type puncher, and that always serves well if you got a real slick defensive fighter in there. If Shakur can show us a little bit of that, what he had in his last fight, a lot of that work in the center of the ring, it's going to be an exciting fight. I think you got to favor the guy who's in the best condition, not only physically, but mentally. I think, these guys are going to have to lock in, and they can't let, that intricate, you got to have your personal life in order. You know what I'm saying? Leading up to a fight this big, you know what I mean? That's going to be the key for both of these guys.
Both guys need to be in peak physical condition and completely locked in mentally, leaving all outside drama behind, because at this championship level, even the smallest mental slip can end your night. While the numbers and fundamentals point to Stevenson as the probable winner, Lopez can turn this into a much tougher fight by forcing exchanges and applying calculated pressure. By making Stevenson worry about getting countered, Lopez can throw off his timing, create scoring opportunities, and potentially swing the momentum completely. Lopez's conditioning work and relentless preparation also become huge factors if this fight goes deep into the championship rounds. Tarver reminds everyone that Teofimo has consistently stepped up when people write him off, pointing to his performances against elite competition like Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. If Lopez can blend his power, accuracy, and toughness together, he's got a legitimate path to upset Stevenson's reign, setting up this clash as a fascinating battle of skill, tactics, and pure determination.
They both possess?
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko, against Josh Taylor, fights to the level of his competition.
Wade Plemons dove deep into this Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur Stevenson battle, calling Stevenson a defensive genius and a true artist inside those ropes. Plemons explains that Stevenson's gift for transforming defense into offense is what makes him special, establishing him as a contemporary master of boxing's fundamentals. He studies incoming punches, predicts opponent movement, and turns openings into scoring opportunities, converting his opponent's aggression into counterpunching chances. Plemons points out that Stevenson's approach isn't about eating shots or depending purely on punch output, which separates him from fighters who focus on forward pressure and constant attack mode. For Lopez, the game plan will probably center on using his ring intelligence while keeping that aggressive forward momentum. Plemons thinks that if Lopez can force Stevenson to initiate and fight moving forward, it might reveal potential weaknesses in Stevenson's ability to dominate ring center aggressively. Lopez's skill in switching between different approaches, defensive counterpunching, and offensive pressure could give him an edge in adjusting to whatever Stevenson...
a professor of the sweet science, you may say. And it's not like Teofimo has a William Zepeda-esque style. He's not just going to be front foot, volume punching, eat punches to give punches. That's not how he's going to fight. He is going to try to go boxing IQ for boxing IQ with Shakur, but I assume do it more on an offensive front foot pace than trying to goad Shakur to walk to him. I mean, it might be the best option for Teofimo if he could get Shakur to be front foot and offensive because of maybe the deficiencies Shakur has on the front foot. We haven't really seen him be a dominant front foot control center fighter. But this is why I'm hoping, again, knock on wood, we don't get like a defensive standoff where we're both feinting and no one wants to take the lead foot and both guys want to play counterpuncher. I think that Teo can do both better than Shakur can do both. I think Shakur is probably the better defensive to offensive fighter. I think Teo could probably switch between styles a little better.
But Plemons also recognizes the mountain Lopez has to climb. Stevenson's defensive brilliance, mixed with his offensive transitions, makes him incredibly tough to crack. Lopez needs to find ways to draw Stevenson into spots where counters can be exploited, but pulling this off demands patience, surgical precision, and perfect timing. One wrong move could let Stevenson take back control immediately. When it's all said and done, This fight is building into a strategic war between two incredibly talented fighters. Stevenson's defensive artistry and knack for converting defense into offense goes up against Lopez's offensive flexibility and adjustment ability, setting up a contest that will test strategy, timing, and boxing IQ at the absolute pinnacle.
I mean, I assume he's talking about, I don't know. There could be a number of things he's talking about. Low blows, rabbit punches, rough clinch work, raking a forearm. I don't really know what he's talking about, but that's hilarious. He's just coming out and saying it. This is when Darren Till was telling Tommy Fury if he started losing the boxing match, he would kick him in the head. This is the same kind of energy, dude. Yeah, hey, listen, I might just do something illegal.
Basically, when you see a fighter like him, it is not illegal to do certain punches and throw certain punches or hit certain areas. It's not, as long as it's not below the belt line. Is that true?
Are you saying you're going to hit me in the back of the head? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are we talking about? You can't. I'm going to punch him in the back of the head.
Huh?
You can hit behind the head. I mean,
no, I know. There's rules to it.
Back of the head. You can't hit nobody in the back of the head.
Just saying, you know what? January 31st.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Catch you all in the next one.